Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today I'm really excited to start filming to talk about Squid Game Season 3. And I know maybe you guys are excited for this as much as I am. And I'm sure many of you all been waiting patiently for this moment in this video. Now, I'm gonna explain to this again, to you guys, to let you know that this video will contain massive spoilers for Season 3. So if you have not watched the third season or you're unaware what's going on, I suggest you do. Because this is my second time saying this, because last time you guys wanted to see the video and you kind of got a bit spoiled. So I apologize, but this is my only spoiler warning. You have been warned. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. So we start off in Season 3 right where the second season ended. After that whole rebellion thing failed and most of the players end up unalived, and just surprisingly, one of them actually survives. And it's this guy, Kyung Suk, player 246, who's the father, and he was trying to get his daughter out of the hospital, pay the bills. Somehow he managed to survive. And Noel, who was the triangle guard, actually actually wounds him a bit and gets him to the infirmary, which later on, Noel has a plan to get herself and that player out. Meanwhile, we return back with Gi-hun. Now, he managed to make... Now, at the end of last season, he lost his best friend, and Jung Bae, R.I.P. to him. But he is brought back to the dormitory, the same old coffin thing where the unalived players are put in. And the only two people that managed to escape from Gi-hun's mega raid and rebellion, it's Hyung-ji, player 120, and also Dae-ho, player 388. Right now, at last, Dae-ho had a panic attack and he's hiding in the corner. And meanwhile, as the triangle guards come in, Gi-hun asks, "Why me? Why was I spared and the others were unalived?" And it's just a shocking moment. And props to the actor Lee Jung-jae for his performance. I think he deserves a massive award for this. But anywho, Gi-hun starts to have some doubts at Dae-ho. He thinks it's his fault for the whole rebellion failure. But I'll explain later on. And so, there was another boat session. And unfortunately, once again, every player decides to continue the games. You know, if I was in this situation and if Gi-hun asked me to do a rebellion, I wouldn't risk my life, unfortunately. I would just stay in the common rooms and would just find a way to escape or something. I would just stay put. But anyway, enough about that. We're about to introduce to the fourth game in the entire show in this season. So this one is called Hide and Seek. Now this is an extremely dangerous one, in my opinion. In this version, you as a player, you're split to two teams. For one is the red team, where they have these knives, and your goal as the tagger to find players who are wearing the blue vest. And with the blue vest, you get to have different keys. Either it's a triangle key, a circle, or a square. And these keys open doors, but they're different locks. So you're on a 50-50 scale if you are survived or not make it out of this one. But regardless, for this next one, you have the players with the knives have to unalive the blue players to win. And for the blue players to win, they either have to survive the entire round or search for an exit. Now this is kind of one of my favorite games from Season 3 because it gives me the vibes of Ready or Not and also the 1997 Canadian film Cube a bit. And it's kind of great, the concept of that. But anywho, back to the Noelle storyline. So she forces the operator to patch up Young Suk's wounds, so he would manage to stay alive. But the guards don't know what's about to happen for this situation. Meanwhile, Junho's team, the police officer, he's trying to find the island, and what they do not know that Captain Park, he is actually secretly working for the games, and the front man informs him to unalive the Marines and just prevent the cops and his force to find the island. And it's just shocking. I was like, it's only a matter of time for Junho will find out about this. So anywho, there's like a whole story section that. So the next episode starts with Noelle. She successfully unalived the doctors after they finished patching up Young Suk, and she managed to help this injured player. Like, I'm surprised, like, how she despite of her being a rank of a soldier, she still has that bit of humanity in her left. And I'm surprised how it's done. Props to the actress who plays Noelle. Great actress, by the way. But anywho, back to the games. So Hyunji, Jemja, and Junhee, they all decided to team up to try to survive. Role writer Hyunjun is like is like a player. She's a pretty cool character, and Jemja is the older woman, and for her son, she and her son have really switched teams. So Jemja is the hider, and Young Sik is like this trying to get fight joins the knife team. And and I forgot to mention, but before the game, Gi-hun confronts Dae-ho, and Dae-ho's like, it's kind of your fault, bro. And I was like, shocked, bro. I was like a little shocked, like, who's Gi-hun supposed to be if he can't just lead these players to safety? That's just like my concern. But anyway, there's more things happen. So Myung-gi has the crypto YouTuber player 333 teams up with Nyam-gyu, Thanos' friend. Which means with the more people alive, the money goes up. It's just all crazy gaming. So meanwhile, back with player 100, the Jung-jae, he literally betrayed his friend getting unalived by another player. He's just a cruel old man. I'm just saying, in my opinion. But anywho's So me and Sue, the little quiet kid, he found himself with Thanos' cross thing. They hides his stuff in there, and it's just kind of this weird little side thing that happens to me and Sue. I'm just like confused, like why did they just gave him a pretty bad side off? I'm just like confused at this point. Her along with Hyunji and Jemta to hide in the room was like in like some hidden rooms. It's like a labyrinth-like maze that's full of children's art, etc. And there, Junhee successfully gives birth to a baby, and I was surprised. I knew this was coming, but I wasn't expecting to happen this in the season. And if I were in this situation, I would just protect Junhee as much as I can, because in my opinion, she's like a pretty good character in Squid Game. She has it's a little sad for her. But anyway, for Gi-hun, he is like really furious at like Dae-ho for what happened, and he goes on a manhunt against him, and he and Dae-ho have a little bit of a fight, and it's pretty brutal. And unfortunately, Gi-hun, sadly, unalives Dae-ho. Like, I knew Dae-ho, had problems, but but he was just like wasted, in my opinion. I'm just like really disappointed, but Young Sik, he tries to like find a player to unalive, and he couldn't. He was like running out of time, but meanwhile, Hyunju decides like looking for an exit, and after getting some keys, she successfully finds it, and just before she goes to tell the others, and then, hey, I found an exit. Unfortunately, this happens because Hyunju is unfortunately unalived by Myung-gi. And at this point, when I first saw that that coming, I'm like, no, this can't be. And I was left speechless in this moment. And it's just like two of like the main characters I knew from like established in season 2 were already unalived, and I just knew that there'd be more, and I was not ready for what I was about to see. Sorry guys, I'm just like completely shocked, but I just want to continue on. So anyways, the players are returned to the dormitory, and so the VIPs actually arrive. They arrive in like the dumbest way possible. They arrive in like in they unalived some players who didn't make it. And beforehand I forgot to say this, but sadly Young Sick is unfortunately unalived by some guards after he failed to unalive a player he was supposed to do. And it's just sad. So after the players come back in the dormitory, Jebcha tries and fails to plead to some people to leave because there's so much loss, and it just reminds you a lot from like season 1 a bit, in my opinion. And it's just shocking how this sounds, and I just have no words of what I hear. But anyways, when Jebcha just tries to confront Gi-hun in the situation, forming that Jun-hee had a baby, and Gi-hun like doesn't say it. He's like just went completely down under. He is like not in just a good mood. And unfortunately, Jebcha sadly unalives herself. Which shocks everyone, including Jun-lee, which in my opinion is one of the saddest deaths in like Korean media history. And it's just shocking. So after this shocking thing, Gi-hun decides like do what he can to help out Jun-hee, and then we are then introduced into a brutal game, which in my opinion has to be one of the most brutal things. If you thought Glass Stepping Stones was pretty brutal, this is just a lot worse. So this is jump rope. So usually jump rope is like just a long rope you play with the playground, but instead of that, you have two robots like the girl from Red Light Green Light and like her partner. Literally, I'm not kidding. And apologies, I really forgot the name. And if you guys know who like the other kid's name is, please write in the comments below. So this jump rope is pretty brutal. So it's on a long narrow bridge. It's like a gap thing, and it is pretty high. Not gonna lie. And I don't know if you guys are height scarers, but this would probably freak me out if I was in. So as of now, they decide they have to cross this jump rope while avoid being knocked off, and it's pretty sad. It's shocking. So Namgyu tries to get knows that Namgyu knows that Minsu has Thanos' necklace, so he tries to get it, and unfortunately Namgyu ends up falling from the rope, which sadly he is unalived by that. So in this strange turn of events, when Jun-hee gave birth to the baby, the VIPs, I don't know why they decided to do this, but it's kind of lazy in my opinion. They decide to give the baby up, make a baby player against Gi-hun's wishes to not have it. Even it's just a baby. So Gi-hun, the brave hero we know, he decides to carry the baby in his arms across a narrow platform. And thanks to his bravery, I mean, I don't know if I'm good at jump rope and stuff, but I'd be terrified completely. He makes it across successfully, which motivates some players to get some, including player 196. But then he decides to unalive some players to increase the prize pool, which is shocking. Dude, are you trying? What is wrong with you, man? I don't know what the writers are thinking, but I don't criticize them. I'm just a little confused at this. So they decide to So yeah, player 96, he blocks the path, he decides to like unalive some players, but thankfully Gi-hun stops him and just they manage to help out some of the other players who are struggling to cross, like dudes them trying to avoid being falling off and getting hit by the rope. So anyways, before that game's end, Junhee, like during like I forgot to say this, during the high seat game, Junhee fell on some stairs. She sprained her ankle and she tried to do it on the other side to try and jump, but I don't think she would make it. And realizing that she can't do it, she decides to fall off. And sadly, Junhee is unalived. Man, guys, this is probably one of like the most saddest death in like the entire Squid Game. I know Ali's was tragic, but this one was just worse. So after this, the VIPs decide to make the baby as player 222, which is like, bro, I don't know what's going on here. But anyways, back with the police storyline. So after when one of like the Gi-hun's boss's friends found out about the truth about this, Junho just successfully unalives Captain Park after he tried to warn like the front man and this stuff. And they're just running out of time to search for everything. So No Yell, she has successfully trying to get the player off Young Silk off the island, and he gets her the boat. Unfortunately, they're like being followed by some like the pink guards, and they're demanding No Yell to return. While Gyungsa just gets to safety. But anyways, back with the characters. So Gi-hun's carrying the baby, and player 100 and his gang, they're just like trying to debate or trying to unalive the baby, but the guard's like, no, we ain't doing that anymore. They're at the finals now. So which means they're just almost at the end game, which I'm gonna quickly change a bit. I'm gonna get to something because it's so important. Wait a second. Alright, I'm back. Sorry for the wait, you guys, but I'm back. So right now, as you can see, I'm wearing the floral uniform from like when the players and the finalists. So right now, there's like 9 people left in the games. Like who's Gi-hun? There's also Myungji and some other, and the player 100 and his gang. So there's like a whole thing happening. So afterwards, after the players had their feast, Gi-hun is like called up to the frontman's office, and he is shocked to reveal that the frontman is none other than In-ho, and also Young-gi. Gi-hun just like wants to like grab the knife and unalive. If you do this, the games will continue and a new person will become the frontman. And how do we know this? Well, we see a flashback of like In-ho's past. He actually was like a player before, and beforehand, only Nam, from player 1 from Squid Game, he was like the original games creator. And afterwards, we are shown like when In-ho just unalives some players or for himself to win the games, and Gi-hun wants to do that. He wants to like escape the games and end this madness. But he sees a ghostly reflection of Kang Sae-byuk from season 1 to encourage him not to do it. And then some more stuff happens, and it's a lot. So we are then shown that like No Yell, she is like confronted from the boss, she's confronted by the boss, the black mask, like the black square guard mask, who was like the supervisor, and then this leads into an all-out brawl against like him and her like in the front man's office. Meanwhile, we are introduced to the 6th and final game of the whole Squid Game saga. And this is Sky Squid. So unlike the regular Squid Game, which had like a more grounded, like this one is like up high. So it's like those 3D shapes like you see in a printer. And that's exactly what it is. And I'm like, dang, this is like insane, next level. So right now, the players have to like fight off one. Or if they knock off one, unalive one, they can move on to the next stage. It's kind of like a little thing. So Min-Soo is like gets unalive after he received the hallucination of Thanos, and also hit the also like Mia, also like C-May who unfortunately unalived in season 2. So afterwards, Min-Soo decides to like surprisingly switch sides. Like he unalives player 336, and then it reveals himself to be the baby's father. And for a moment I think that maybe Myung-gi has a change of heart. He may just finally get rid of his greed and stuff. But later on, the players go up against each other. Then they fight off against the others, and they got rid of player 100 finally because I couldn't take that guy. He was annoying. And afterwards, there's only a few people left, like Gi-hun, Myung-gi, and the baby. And then, meanwhile, offhand, Junho successfully rescues Gi-young-sik and unalives the guards who sent after him, which makes Gi-young-sik the only player to ever escape these games. And I'm shocked. Like, all this search because of Captain Park was delaying everything. So now we're at the finale. So after Noel has successfully unalived the mascot, she wants to like end it all. So she burns all the records. She wants to like get rid of all the evidence and everything, etc. So Myung-gi and Gi-hun, they have like a mega fight, and they don't even press the button on the floor, because I forgot to say this, but when you're starting a new platform, you have to press the button in order to start the game timer. And since Gi-hun didn't, the two of them are fighting, and Gi-hun had Myung-gi falls and he's left unalived, which means Gi-hun and the baby. And this was like a real pressure moment. Like at this point, I didn't know what was going on. Gi-hun's left with a choice. But in that moment, Gi-hun just delivers one of the most shocking quotes ever, and just talked to the front man face to face. He says, "We are not horses. We are humans, and humans are." But then that leaves Gi-hun falling, and he eventually sadly, Gi-hun is unalive, which makes player 222, aka the baby, the only winner of this brutal Squid Games. So with the Coast Guard coming in, So with the Coast Guard coming in, Gi-hun the front man says the honor to self-destruct. All the guards, personnel, VIPs escaped, and all the Squid Game stuff, all that evidence, it's all gone. Everything's destroyed. Like, it just wasn't even there. So we now cut to 6 months later. So Young-suk is back with his daughter, everything, and it's just all a bunch of stuff. And I'm just disappointed to the front that no one got saved. I was expecting a pretty good end, but it didn't. So meanwhile, front man, he just, as his name Minho, he just like delivers like the card thing along to Gi-hun's daughter in Los Angeles, and she just doesn't even talk to Gi-hun anymore. Just like stop talking, and it's just shocking. We are then and also the baby. It's now the police officer's baby, Junho. And this, in my opinion, is like one of the most confusing endings ever. So, before Inho leaves, he sees a woman like playing dakchi with another man, and this is like in America, so which means the Squid Games are in America. And this, in my shock, has been one of the most annoying and confusing endings ever. Squid Game is in America, which means, this is sadly but true, there's going to be a Squid Game American spinoff. And I'm just like, really? What do we need? And I am like disappointed in the ending, in my opinion. I wish some of the characters would make it out alive, but it's just all for nothing. It's actually one of my most disappointing reviews I ever done. But yeah, I'm disappointed how it ended, and if I was a writer of like Squid Game, I would just have a write off a complete different ending in my opinion, and it would have been better. But I can't since it's Korea. But anywho's, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and comment down below just to tell me which Squid Game character would you try get out alive. But anywho's, thanks for watching. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.